Most people in this lane open with their best deal. I'm opening with one of my worst ones on purpose, and by the end, you'll understand why that choice is the whole lesson. The background, so you know the scar sits on a real body of work. I own about 21 properties held to date today. I've completed about 50 to 75 real estate transactions, over 10 million in combined portfolio and transaction volume in my first 5 years within the industry. Built by working a corporate job, started by selling my family home and moving the family into a household half that size. And these days I sit on the other side of the desk too. My company has funded over 2 million behind investors so far. I read other people's deals for a living. Inside of that body of work sits one flip I think more about than any other winner. The spreadsheet said 40,000 profit. I walked away with about 7,500, which is not bad. Or I guess depending on how you look at it. But hey, still on the positive side, but a lot of mistakes made along the way. And here's why that one deal earns a whole video, and it's not therapy. From the lender's chair, I now read file after file from investors, and the difference between the ones who scale and the ones who flame out is never the winners. Everyone's winners look the same. The difference is what they're buying shows when nothing goes right, because that's the only thing a lender actually is pricing. And the 32,500 that evaporated from my flip disappeared through exactly 2 holes. The same 2 holes I now see in almost every optimistic file that lands on my desk. Nobody prices for them because everything in that lane, the gurus, the TV shows, the spreadsheets, is built to leave them out. Who this is for, honestly? You're about to buy your first finance deal and your pro forma looks beautiful. This video is the stress test it hasn't had. You own doors already, and one renovation has quietly gone longer and it costs more than you'll admit at dinner. You already met the 2 levers. Now you'll see them named. Or you watched my last video. You're building the fundable file and your outside capital is about to be available to you. Then this is the most important video in the series because leverage makes good buying compound and bad buying catastrophic. The ground we're covering, the full autopsy of my $40,000 that became $7,500 and the 2 levers that took it. Why every pro forma in this lane lies in the same direction and why the market itself rewards the lie. The audit you can run on any deal sheet today in 20 minutes before your money moves. And what buying discipline looks like from the lender's chair, because it's not a virtue, it's a capital strategy. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. The profit on my flip wasn't lost during the renovation. It was lost on the day I signed. Inside the numbers, I chose not to price. And the bigger reframe this lane hides. Buying discipline isn't caution. It's the things lenders are reading when they decide whether you get funded once or funded forever. One promise and hold me to it. Here's my promise. And it's a strange one. But by the end of this video, one ugly number, my friend, the 7,500, will have earned more of your trust than every winning deal I could ever show you instead. Watch what happens inside of yourself as we go. At the end, I'll show you how to weigh the shift and what the proof actually is. Because it's the exact skill in this video as exists to teach. And you'll have run it once on me already. The autopsy, where the 32,500 went. Start where every deal starts, the spreadsheet. Purchase price, renovation budget, resale number, and at the bottom of it, in confident bold, projected profit, 40K. Every number on that sheet was defensible. That's the trap. So hear it again. No single line was crazy. The sheet lied anyway. The money left through 2 doors. I want you to learn that the doors, not my specific totals, because your deal will use the same doors with different numbers. Level 1, cost. The things the sheet never met. The most famous one on this deal was the roof, the hidden roof. The problem the inspection can't fully see and the seller doesn't volunteer that introduces itself after closing when it's yours. Here's the mechanism. Why this always happens rather than sometimes: an inspection samples a house for a few hours. A renovation opens it for months. Whatever the walls are hiding is, by definition, not on your sheet. So a sheet with no buffer line isn't optimistic. It's incomplete every time. Costs don't arrive alone. Change order gets priced at a captive customer rate. Because mid-project, you have no negotiating leverage, and while we're in there, additions ride along. One unpriced discovery becomes a family of them. Level 2, schedule. The level nobody even puts on the sheet. And here's what a slid month actually costs, because it's never zero. The financing meter runs, the insurance and utilities and taxes run, the resale market moves without asking you, and your next deal waits in line behind this one. Do the derivation once and you'll never forget it. Holding a leverage project costs real money per month. So schedule isn't a convenience metric. Schedule is a cost lever wearing a calendar costume. A budget that's on target while the timeline doubles is a budget that failed. And the two levers multiply. They don't add. The surprise cost causes the delay. The two levers multiply. They don't add. The surprise cost causes the delay. The delay runs the meter. The running meter pressures you into a fast, expensive decisions, which creates the next surprise. That spiral is what took that $32,000 leaving quietly. Feels like from the inside. No single disaster, a compounding of two unpriced levers. So the deal that should have made me $40K paid me $7,500. All right. It did pay me. I didn't lose money, which is exactly what makes this kind of deal so dangerous. A small win teaches nothing unless you autopsy it like a loss. Most people bank the $7,500, call it a win at dinner, and sign the same sheet again next quarter. While the levers multiply, the spiral from the inside. The levers don't add, they feed each other. That's why a sheet missing both isn't twice as wrong, it's compounding wrong. And why the buffer line and the monthly meter have to exist before the first line surprise, not after. The autopsy of how the $40K projection becomes $7,500. $32,500 times the cost lever plus the schedule lever. The $32,000 didn't leave in one event. It left through two unpriced levers feeding each other. The cost the walls were hiding. And the months the slide put on the meter, your deal will use the same two doors. Why? Every sheet lies the same direction. Here's the question a smart person asks next. You wrote one bad sheet. Why do I have to keep meeting investors with the same story? Why do the sheets never lie in your favor? The answer isn't stupidity, it's structure, and deriving it is what protects you. The sheet is written by the person who wants the deal. You already driven past the house, pictured it finished, imagine telling your spouse, every judgment call on the sheet, rent estimate, renovation line, timeline gets made by that person. Nobody double checks their own dream against themselves. The market itself punishes honest sheets. Think it through. A disciplined buyer prices the roof buffer and the schedule slack so his maximum offer is lower. The optimistic prices neither, so he bids higher and the seller picks the higher bid. Running across every listing in every market systematically hands the deal to the worst Matt. Winning the bid with a hopeful sheet isn't winning. It's being selected for the exact mistake I made. Auction theory has a name for this. The winner's curse. And the residential flipping, it's a natural habitat. The reference sheets you learned from are entertainment. Watch any house flipping show on HGTV tonight. Look at the profit mat on screen at the end. Purchase, renovation, sale price, profit. Now, look for those refinancing costs for the months held. The insurance, taxes, utilities, the agent commissions on the sale, the overrun episodes conveniently resolved before the reveal. The most watched deal sheets in America are missing the exact two levers that ate my $32K. Generation of buyers learn what a deal sheet looks like from them. Go check tonight. It's verifiable in one episode. So the line sheet isn't a personal failing you avoid by being smart. It's the default output of the whole system. Written by a dreamer, selected by an auction, formatted by television. Discipline has to be installed on purpose against the current. Nobody drifts into it. The winner's curse and why the market hands the deals to the worst Matt. Run this across every listing in the market, and the auction systematically selects the sheet with the least priced in reality. Winning a bid with hopeful Matt isn't winning. It's being chosen for the mistake. Economics call it the winner's curse. My flip was one. Purchase, rehab, resell, we clear 40K. Easy, numbers work. Okay, the roof was a surprise and the change orders hurt, but we're still fine if we list by summer. $7,500 profit, right? Okay, great. At least we didn't lose money. Now, the layer that nobody in flipping content ever adds, because almost nobody's teaching it, has set where I sit. What does your buying look like from the chair that funds you? While a file lands on my desk, the applicant thinks they're showing me a deal. They're actually showing me how they decide. The purchase price against the comp tells me if they're paying for dreams. The renovation budget tells me if they evaluated a real house before. The presence or absence of a buffer line tells me whether this project survives contact with surprise. The timeline tells me whose calendar they're living on. Is it hope or theirs? Because remember, what the lender is actually exposed to, I'm not in your upside. My best case is you pay me back as scheduled. My whole risk is your downside, and your downside lives in exactly two places: cost you didn't price and months you didn't plan. The lender's entire risk model is the two levers from my autopsy. That's why buying discipline is fundability, not separate virtue next to it. And it's the part that you should reframe your whole relationship with discipline. One clean file gets you funded once, but an operating history of deals that hit their sheets, that what turns a lender from a gatekeeper into a repeat partner. Funded once in a transaction, funded forever is a track record. And the track record is built at the moment of purchases, deal by deal. This is also why the none of your own money crowd never teaches buying discipline. And I want you to see the structural reason, not just call them lazy. Their product is a dream, and a dream sells best frictionless. You make money when you buy, it's friction. Buffers are friction. Walking away from deals is friction. The moment they teach you the real half, their offer sounds like work. So the incentive is to skip it forever, which hands you a filter you can run on any teacher in this lane, me included. Does their content have settlement statements and a scar in it, or only a dream? The ones selling you the what and skipping the how, they're not abbreviating, they're omitting the half that decides everything. What does your deal sheet tell the lender about you? The line on the sheet, what I read from it: purchase price versus comps. Do they pay for dreams? Renovation budget. Have they evaluated a real house? To present or absent? The buffer line, present or absent? Does the project survive surprise? The timeline and holding line. Whose calendar does they live on? The walk-away number written down. Are they buying or being sold? You think you're submitting a deal, you're submitting a psychological profile with an address on it. The two levers are what I'm pricing, because your downside is the only thing I'm exposed to. Why do smart buyers fall for it anyway? The people who lose money this way are not gamblers. They're engineers, physicians, managers of multi-million-dollar budgets. The trap catches smart people through three specific mechanisms. Wins are loud and buying mistakes are slow. The bad buy doesn't announce itself at signing. By the settlement statement on the table, there's no single moment to blame. So the story becomes renovations are unpredictable. Instead of the sheet was incomplete, the loss gets filled under bad luck, and bad luck teaches nothing. Your professional discipline doesn't transfer, and that surprises people. At work, your budgets have contingency lines because an organization forces them on you. Your personal deal sheet has no organization behind it. Same person, same skill, zero governance. And the sheet quality becomes a wish list. The discipline was never yours alone. It was the system's, and the system stayed at the office. The deal race feels like validation. When you're aggressive, offers win the bid. It feels like winning. Losing bids to be optimist feels like failure. So the market keeps training you towards worse sheets, and every one bid confirms training. The incentive gradient points directly at my 7,500 for everyone all the time. The 20-minute audit before your money moves. All right. Here's the test. I now run every sheet, mine and the ones that land on my desk. Take any deal sheet, yours, a guru's case study, a wholesaler's pitch, and grade it. 20 minutes, 6 questions. The buffer line. Is there a contingency line for the renovation? A real percentage. Sitting in the sheet as its own number. Not, we'll see a line if it's missing a stop. The sheet, is it incomplete? Not optimistic. The mechanical questions. Roof, foundation, electrical, plumbing, HVAC. Does the sheet show evidence anyone priced the expensive invisibles, or does the budget read like paint and countertops? The hidden roof lives here. The monthly meter. Is there holding cost line, financing, taxes, insurance, utilities, price per month? If the sheet doesn't know what month cost, the timeline is decoration. The schedule stress test. Take their timeline, add half again, and rerun the profit at the length. If the deal only works on the happy schedule, the deal doesn't work. The exit honestly. Does the resale or refi number come from sold comps or from the nicest listing on the street? And are selling costs, commissions, closings actually in there? The walkaway number. Is the maximum purchase price written down? Decided before the negotiation started. If it isn't, the negotiation will decide if you and the negotiation doesn't love you. Run those 6 on my old flip sheet and it fails 4 of them in the first 10 minutes. That's the point. 32K lesson was available for free 20 minutes before I signed. I paid the full price version so you can run the audit instead. And run it on the next guru case study you see. Watch how many times of the 6 you can't even answer from what they show you. Now, know what the silence is hiding. The cost lever, the questions, buffer line, mechanicals price. What it catches, the hidden roof cost, the change order family. My flip grade failed both. The schedule lever, the questions, right? Monthly meter, stress tested timeline. What it catches, the running meter, the compounding slide. My flip grade failed both. The exit plus the anchor. The questions asked, what's the sold comps or the walkaway numbers written? What it catches, the dream resale, the auction dragging you up. My flip grade passed barely. 6 questions, 20 minutes, run before the money moves. This is the cheapest due diligence that exists, and it would have kept most of my 32K where it belonged. What the discipline is honestly worth. Now, the claim section, and I hold myself to the same standard I just gave you grading gurus. The naive promise would be buy right every deal hits the sheets. Write it down. It's a lie. Derive why. Some risks survive any discipline. Markets move during your hold. Appraisals come in where they come in. Tenants and contractors are human. Discipline doesn't delete the distribution of outcomes. It narrows it and shifts it. Smaller surprises, and no single deal is able to take you off the board. The cost of its absence. What I can put real numbers next to is the cost of its absence. One incomplete sheet cost me 32K against projection on a single deal. That's the tuition rate for self-teaching this. It only goes up with leverage and with deal size. And the compounding effect is the part the naive version can't even see. Disciplined buys keep your file clean, and the clean file keeps capital flowing. My 2 students are the honest picture of the pace. Starting from 0 experience, roughly $50,000 in combined flip profits, 5 rentals held in about 3 years, part-time, both still working in 9 to 5. Real results, not typical, never compromised. Notice what's absent from their story. No blown deal that reset them to 0. At their stage, the win isn't the home runs. It's that nothing catastrophic happened while the track record compounded. That's what discipline buys, and is also exactly what their lenders are paying for. What discipline actually does, it narrows the spread. It doesn't delete it. Discipline is not a promise that every deal wins. It's a floor under how badly a deal can go. And the floor is what lets the recycle keep running. Deal after deal, year after year, lenders fund the floor. Who this isn't for, right? If you're hunting the shortcut, this whole channel repels you on purpose. The person looking for the trick that skips diligence is the person my 7500 story was designed to filter out. The filtering is the content working correctly. Discipline costs you deals. I won't hide that. Run the audit, you will lose bids to optimists regularly. That's not the system failing. That's the tax, and it's the best tax you'll ever pay. Every deal you lose to a hopeful sheet is $32K less than someone else just enrolled in. Scars aren't fully retired. Even now, I still own risk, no disciplines removed, markets, timing, people. Anyone telling you their system deleted risk from real estate is describing a product, not a practice. Mine narrowed it, documented on paper, and that's the whole claim. The gate from video one still lands. This is for professionals with income or capital to deploy, building toward or through their first funded deals. If funding would be survival money rather than investment capital, please close this and protect yourself. This path is not built for you at the moment. The move I just ran. The move I just ran on you. Top of the video, I promised something strange. The one ugly number would buy more trust than any winner. Check yourself now, because the promise is due. If I had opened with my best flip, glamour photos, and a fat profit line, some of you would have watched. Every one of you would have kept the one eyebrow up. You've seen 1,000 highlights. Your defenses priced them at 0. Instead, I showed you the sheet that failed, the levers that took the money, and the exact grade my own deal earns off my own audit. And somewhere in there, without deciding to, you started taking my other numbers seriously. Name what happened. You discounted the highlight and you priced the disclosure. You graded proof on its downside honesty, not the upsides. That is buying right. Applied to information instead of houses. You just ran the scale once on me and it worked. You're trusting the operator who showed you the scar, and you should. Now, make it permanent. Run the same read on every teacher, every case study, every deal sheet that wants your money. Where's the buffer line? Where's the scar? What does the silence not show? The audit from this video and the instinct you just used are the same muscle. One works on houses, one works on people, and now you own both. One more thing, and this is the deeper trap. This was never only about renovation budgets. It was about which moment you believe decisions happen in. Everything in this lane points to your attention at the exciting moments, the negotiation, the reveal, the sale. But the outcome was set earlier, quietly, on a sheet, before anything looked like a decision at all. The loud moments execute the decision, the quiet moment makes it. That's true of the flip, and it was true at the wall at door 3 in the last video. By the time the drama arrives, the results is old news, and the file remembers. Here's the sentence I want you to keep from the lender's chair. The deal you buy wrong doesn't just cost you that deal's profit. It costs you the next approval, because it becomes the track record the next lender reads. Every purchase is 2 transactions, one with the seller, one with every lender who will ever read your file. The honest limit to this video, so you hear from me first. The 6-question audit is yours now, and it genuinely works. What it can't carry is calibration, what a normal renovation number looks like in your specific market, which contractor bid is real, when a buffer is paranoid versus prudent. That's judgment, and judgment is built deal by deal or borrowed from someone who has already paid for it. I paid $32,000 for one installment of mine. If you're a professional with income or capital to deploy who rather borrow the judgment and the capital behind it, then fund your own tuition. That's exactly the work I do with a small number of people. What this still doesn't fix, and where we go next. What you can do now, run the 6-question audit on the next sheet that crosses your desk today. 20 minutes. Write your walkaway number before your next offer. Add the buffer line and the monthly meter to your template so they exist before the dreaming starts. But notice where the series stands and what's still missing. Video 1 made you fundable. Lenders fund the operator, and you now know what that file says. This video made you buy right. The discipline that protects the deal and feeds the file so you can get the capital. And you can buy one property well. Neither video explains how one property becomes 21. Buying one house right with funded capital is a good deal. It's not a portfolio. And saving your way from door 1 to door 21 or door 30 is the exact race we've already buried in the video 1. The machine that does it is the recycle, renovate, rent, refinance, pull a capital back out, and send the same dollars into the next door. While the tenants pay down the debt, it sounds like magic. And the internet's version of it is magic. Fake magic, infinite returns, every dollar back, every cycle. You already know what I do to claims like that. In the next video, the recycle walked on my own settlement statements, shows refinances where I pulled back at closing, what came back, what stayed in the walls, and the honest cycle mat that turned me from being stopped at wall or door 3 to having 21 doors now currently. The fantasy version has no seasoning, no appraisal risk, and no waiting. The real version has all 3 and still beats the saving race by years. That gap is the next video. The series, The Funding Operator Method, assembling one video at a time. The recycle, bird away it actually runs on my own refinance statement across closings across my first 5 years in real estate, including the cycles that return less than the spreadsheet hoped. The honest machine, and it still buries the saving race.